You know, on the surface, 2024 looks like an absolutely incredible year for Malaysia's car market. The headlines were glowing, the numbers were massive, and you'd think every car brand in the country was just rolling in success. But as we're about to see, the real story is, well, it's a lot more complicated and honestly, way more interesting. So let's get into it.
First up, the big headline number. In 2024, the total number of vehicles sold in Malaysia hit a jaw-dropping 816,747. And this wasn't just a good number, okay? This was a new all-time high. For the first time ever, we completely smashed past the 800,000 mark in a single year. Just wild.
And this record-breaking performance wasn't just a win for us here at home. We actually pulled even further ahead of Thailand, which is usually seen as the automotive giant of Southeast Asia. While their market actually shrank, ours grew by 2.1%. So we didn't just break our own record, we really cemented our spot as a major regional player.
Now, with a year like that, you'd expect every car company to be popping champagne, right? But here's the twist. If you actually look at the data, it tells a very, very different story. Even though the total number of cars sold went up, most brands actually saw their sales go down. A lot more red than green on the sales charts. So that brings us to the big mystery of this whole thing. If the overall market is booming, but most of the companies in it are struggling, where did all that growth actually come from? Who was buying all these cars? Well, the answer is right here at home. It all comes down to our two national car brands, Perodua and Proton. In 2024, they weren't just part of the story, they were the story. Just take a look at this. Together, Perodua and Proton control a massive 61.9% of the entire Malaysian car market. Think about that for a second. For every 10 new cars you see driving down the road, more than 6 of them are either a Perodua or a Proton. That level of dominance is just incredible. And what's really crazy is that this record-breaking year was pretty much powered by just one company. Perodua had an unbelievable year, selling over 358,000 cars, an 8.4% jump from the year before. In fact, if you actually take Perodua's amazing performance out of the equation, the market wouldn't have hit a record at all. They single-handedly dragged the entire industry into new territory.
Okay, so if our national brands are flying high, what's going on with everyone else? Let's talk about the traditional powerhouses, right? The Japanese brands that have been household names in Malaysia for decades. For them, 2024 told a very, very different tale.
So, in the big fight between the non-national giants, Toyota still sold more cars overall. But, and this is a big but, their sales actually dropped by over 5%. Honda, on the other hand, managed to be the only major Japanese brand to actually see some growth, with a 2.1% increase. It might seem small, but in a tough market like this, that's a huge win. And once you look past those top two, the picture gets pretty grim. I mean, look at these numbers. We're talking about massive drops for brands we see everywhere every single day. Mitsubishi down over 25%, Mazda down 24%, and Nissan, well, Nissan was down over 22%. That's a fall so steep it actually knocked them out of the top 10 best-selling brands completely. So while all these legacy brands were struggling, a totally new force was just taking the market by storm. And this might be the most dramatic shift we've seen in the Malaysian car scene in years, the absolutely explosive arrival of the Chinese brands. Leading that charge, Chery. In 2024, they sold an incredible 19,683 cars. Now, to put that into perspective, this one brand, which is still pretty new to the market, is now the third best-selling non-national car brand in the whole country. They just leapfrog names we've known for our entire lives. And here's the number that explains it all. This is where it gets absolutely wild. Chery grew its sales by, wait for it, 338% in 1 year. That's not just growth, that's like a market earthquake. It's completely changing the game.
And Chery isn't the only Chinese brand making huge waves. The EV giant BYD also had a massive breakout year, charging right into the top 10 best-selling brands in Malaysia for the very first time.
Their success was powered entirely by their super popular electric vehicles, and it led to this, an incredible sales jump of 130%. This is clear proof that Malaysian buyers are not just getting interested in good EVs, they're absolutely hungry for them. It's a huge shift, right? A massive change in what's happening on our roads. If this breakdown is giving you a clearer picture, how about taking a second to hit that like button and subscribe? That way, you'll always stay ahead on Malaysia's biggest stories.
Okay, so let's recap.
We've got our national brands stronger than ever. We've got the legacy Japanese brands facing a major storm, and we have these new Chinese challengers growing at an unbelievable speed. So, what does all this mean for the road ahead? And more importantly, what does it mean for you as a car buyer?
And you know, this pressure cooker environment isn't just happening in the mainstream market. It was a tough year across the board. Even in the premium world, there was a shakeup. Both BMW and Mercedes-Benz saw their sales drop, but BMW managed to hold on to a really strong lead, outselling its main rival even with all the challenges. So let's just boil down this new power dynamic. First, our national brands, especially Perodua, are in an incredibly powerful position. Second, most of the Japanese brands we've known for years are losing ground. Third, the Chinese brands are the new, aggressive players who are just shaking everything up. And all of that adds up to one thing: really intense competition at every single price point.
So what's the bottom line for you in all of this? Well, it's simple. All this disruption, all this fierce competition, it's fantastic news. For you, the Malaysian car buyer, it means more brands are fighting for your attention. And that leads to more choices, cooler technology, and most importantly, way better value for your money. The game has totally changed, and you're the one who wins.
Thanks for watching. You can join thousands of other Malaysians who want clarity, not confusion. Just tap like, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of all this together.
So yeah, 2024 was a year of records, but it was also a year of revolution. The old way of doing things has been shaken up, and new players are redrawing the entire map. It really leaves us with one big question to think about. As this race gets even hotter, who do you think is going to win the battle for Malaysia's roads?